Welcome to the Crypto Campfire. They just stole 50 cars in one night. They're a little tired, a little wired, and I think deserve a little appreciation. Mitch and the Professor, featuring special guest, Map to Success.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Crypto Campfire podcast. This is the Professor.
And Mitch.
And today we're going to be talking with Map to Success. But before we start talking to him, let's grab that crypto news from the Crypto Gent.
Thanks, Professor. Hello, Crypto Campfire listeners, and welcome to the cryptocurrency news in a flash with the Crypto Gent. Some Coinbase users have noted that they cannot withdraw more than $10 in Bitcoin a day. Coinbase is working upon the problem. Ripple unlocks 500 million tokens from escrow as XRP price is up 26%. YTD Ethereum co-founder Vitalik Buterin says Bitcoin Cash is not Bitcoin. That's the cryptocurrency news in a flash with the Crypto Gent, and it's back to you, Professor.
Thanks a lot, Crypto Gent. Hey, Mitch, you want to tell us where you are right now?
So I am at this restaurant. It's called Tables and Taps out in Heartland, Michigan. And I'm hanging out with Griff and Chad and Jay Barrett and J Mac. And we were having our little crypto meetup today. Our first official Midwest adoption team meetup here in Michigan. So it was kind of fun. Well, I shouldn't say kind of, it's really fun. A lot of good conversation.
I didn't notice that Jay was there too. That's awesome. I saw part of your live stream and I didn't catch him. So tell Jay hi for me, and nice work on the blog.
Right on. No,
Oh, yeah.
I told him that we really appreciate him doing the blog for us. And we got into a lot of different conversations, it was really good. Definitely good.
Real-time adoption.
That's right. That's
Oh,
right.
Yeah. Tell people about it. Maybe one day Tables and Taps will be taking crypto for payments.
You never know.
Keep on them.
That's
So speaking of adoption, I know somebody who is kicking ass and taking names in adoption because he is like the yin to our yang as far as Uber drivers go. Because you and I, every time we hop in a car, we're on them like, dude, you guys got to be taking crypto for tips and learn about Bitcoin, and here's a seed card. And he's out there just on the flip side. He's driving people around and making damn sure that they know about crypto. So I'm looking forward to having this conversation today. Map, welcome to the show. What's going on, man?
Hey, how you going, guys?
Good to have you here.
Good to have you, buddy.
All right. I know one thing for sure. I'm just seeing names. I can't see anybody's faces because I think nobody's cameras are on.
yeah, we're going audio only on this one. At least
okay.
Mitch has got his camera on. I don't have a camera on this computer. I'm on a desktop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So you can't really see me too well.
Yeah.
We can see the Litecoin logo. That's all that matters.
That's right.
Look,
I got my favorite Litecoin sweatshirt on.
that's a light in the dark. It's Litecoin all day, brother.
That's it. And I got my Pay with Crypto t-shirt on underneath that.
Okay.
Now we're
nice.
talking.
Nice. Yeah.
Like, the pay with Crypto.
Okay.
So you're going to be flashing the message a little bit at the bar, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Getting that word out there.
Yeah, I got the coin flip hat on.
Oh, now we're talking coin flip, guys.
All right.
Check it out. That's good. That's a good segue real quick into to talking about coin flip super fast. Thank you guys. Coin flip is our sponsor. They are amazing. They have the most amount of ATMs in the world for crypto.
Yep.
Okay. So get on their map, coinflip.tech. Check out the map. See if there's one near you. If there is, go use it. Post a video on Twitter and let us know about it. If there isn't, find a local business that wants to have one, because how awesome would it be to be able to walk down the street and buy Bitcoin at the ATM or cash it out if you need to spend it. Check it out.
Yeah.
And they got JMac 99 peddling coin flip ATMs like a damn vacuum salesman back in the 60s.
JMac is the Kirby man of the coin flip ATMs. I love it. So Map to Success, man. We met you at Litecoin Summit. That was awesome. We didn't get to talk too deep.
So much fun.
Let's go back. How did you get into crypto in the first place, and what got you sucked in?
Okay, so fast forwarding back to like mid to late 2017. This was like when cryptos was like a raging bull. Everybody was talking about it, and anybody that knew anything about Bitcoin or anything about cryptos were really just on and on and on about it like crazy because it was just going through the roof. And I saw it popping up on like YouTube and like Facebook and stuff like that. And I used to see like little clips here and there, but I never really knew anything about Bitcoin. I didn't know what it was, what cryptocurrencies are, and I just saw this thing just keep on replaying, and it just keeps on going like on and on and on, and it's like ads after ads, and I'm like, this got to be something serious. And what really happened was I was watching I was watching like reruns of BitConnect recordings. That's how I found out about Bitcoin, through BitConnect.
No
That's
shit.
literally like one of the most classical times to be alive and learn
That's
about
crazy, man.
cryptos at the same time. Like I am actually like a future money graduate. Only the OG Bitcoiners would know what a future money graduate is. Because that's like a BitConnect course that they had where they gave people like the opportunity to learn, and you learn what Bitcoin was and how you actually invested on their platform and how you actually get Bitcoins and what it is. And they introduced like people to Coinbase and all that stuff. So I really like learned like baby steps. Like from there, I learned step by step through like I think it was like a 10-part course, and then after that you get like a little certificate, and it's like you have like the little certificate with like future money on there, and you're like, okay, this is pretty cool.
Nice.
I get to actually flash something around that I know a thing or two about cryptos. I can tell people like, look, I'm smart.
Did you get burned by BitConnect or did you get lucky on that?
I actually didn't invest in it.
Oh, gotcha.
I was really skeptical because all my senses like like you would have like Spider-Man with his spider senses tingling. Well, my scammer senses were tingling really hard. So I was like, okay, I might want to watch this and see how it turns out because I just think this is a little bit too good to be true. And then, I had like all the ads that they used to run every day, like, hi, my name is Trevon James, or, my name is Craig, whatever his name was. This is my Bitcoin wallet.
Carlos Matos.
Oh my gosh. That
Have you
guy.
seen the Dylan Locke remix of Carlos Matos? It's like a music video.
Oh, classic.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Classic. It's like anybody that actually missed out in that part of cryptos literally like missed out on heritage. Like we could actually say that we were the OGs of that space, of that era, really, because it moves so fast. It's like it's in a time warp. Time goes by so fast when you're in cryptos, you don't even realize. Like stuff that could happen like in a week would literally take like a year to actually come to fruition in the stock market. So we're literally like in a hyperbolic phase.
It's crazy, and not even just from an actual standpoint of what can be accomplished, but your mental, um, I guess just the feeling of how fast time is going. Because I swear to God, it was 2 weeks ago that I was just learning about that there were more cryptos than Bitcoin, and I was like, in 2020, Tron is going to be $5. Like it feels like just yesterday.
Oh
It's
boy,
crazy.
that's crazy. That is so crazy. But it's like it's so crazy that I could actually be in the streets all day, every day, and I could meet some of the most wonderful people that you could possibly find and just educate them about something that's just so helpful.
So, how many people do you run into that actually have heard of it?
Surprisingly enough, I've run into some pretty smart individuals that after I ask them about what Bitcoin is and they explain what a distributed ledger is, a few of them blow me away, to tell you the truth, because I'm really like, man, like these are some of the people that we really need in the space. Like they know so much. Like it would be so great if you could have them like even come to a meetup and just like educate a couple more people, or people that would rather listen to them than listen to a complete stranger that, you know, like they don't really know. But after going around and asking a couple of people, it's like I would say about 1 in 5 that would actually know like anything about cryptos in general, and then the rest of them are just clueless. They literally just like all the way to the left. They don't even know what it is. A lot of them never even heard of it, you know. And after having like one sensible conversation about what it is and just connecting the dots little by little, they come out of a ride feeling like a pro. They really learn a lot.
You know, today when we were at this bar, I showed JMac those seed cards that you had made, Professor, and that you brought to Vegas with us.
The orange and silver ones or whatever.
Yes, the orange
Yeah.
and silver ones. And so he was like, "Oh, dude, give me some of those." And I'm like, "You can have one." So come on, give me at least two. I says, "All right, two, and that's it." Because I only got like 20 left. I'm like, I ain't cut myself short, man.
I've got like 800 of them because I forgot to. I was gonna leave like most of them in Vegas, and I forgot. I'm glad I left a few of those little stacks on the table there on the. But yeah, I've got a bunch of them. I'll get you some sent over.
I grabbed some of those, and yeah, I'm down to just a little pile. So, but no, it was fun meeting you in Vegas, and it's been even more exciting and more thrilling to watch, you know, you step into the video light and start doing your broadcasts and your videos. I'm glad that you decided to do that. I think the more people that actually choose to go that route, it's going to just bring more validity to what they're doing, because you're associating a name or a face to an emotion. You're associating your face to your drive and your passion, and people can pick up on that more so in video than they can in type. So I mean, kudos to you and Chad and all you guys that are starting to do these videos more. I think it's a great thing.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely is. It definitely is. Because I used to do like daily videos on my YouTube channel, and you know, after trying to get that in line with work and everything, it kind of became challenging a little bit. But if I'm in the streets and I can make a quick 2 minute, 3 minute video and post it up on Twitter, that makes a lot more sense. Because you know, I could basically have like, okay, this just happened. I could share this with the public and they could actually relate, because they might have found themselves in a similar situation before, or they might have actually, you know, been the passenger, and they've learned something that they never knew that was out there. They didn't know was possible. So in a sense like that, I try to I try to differentiate both of them. I have like my YouTube channel that I do like interviews, and then I would do like crypto Twitter for like the everyday adoption. And then I'm gonna incorporate some of those videos on my YouTube channel. I'm gonna actually like stock and pile, just like the professor said, find the best ones and just put them out there and just have people watch everything, so they'll actually see everything connected in once.
Hell yeah. It's just crazy how much more people get out of them. So the last video you posted, you were talking about you were on the streets. Now, do you drive an Uber? Is that what it is that what you do when you're?
Yeah. So what I do is, oh, there's a crypto pup right here. Always photobombing my
Oh
videos.
yeah.
But he like what happened was I actually drive Uber and Lyft part time.
Okay.
And from driving part time, I do like a couple hours a day. And over the couple hours a day that I do, I meet so many different individuals. We're talking about lawyers, doctors, judges, you know, you name it, like people from the construction fields, you know, carpenters, all different types of people, like from all walks of life. You know, you put all those people together, and you get like a community of people that it just becomes so addictive to teach them, because a lot of them are so, you would have people that you could just sense the hopelessness because they don't know anything about cryptocurrencies. They don't know that it's actually out there, and it's like a whole different world that once they actually get like immersed into it, they instantly go down the rabbit hole just like the rest of us, and they never look back because it gets to a point where it gets pretty addictive, where all you're doing is just research. You're learning as the day goes by. You slowly trying to pick up with the news, and you're staying on top of stuff, and everything that comes out, you really like staying intact, and you're trying to catch this news and make sure that you're on top of everything. So it really is something that's physical, and it's really exciting because you get to grow along with the space.
So do you have a QR code on the back of your headrest?
What I do is I have a QR code on my dashboard,
Okay.
and not only that, I have like the seed cards that I pass out, like to any one of the riders that I actually have a conversation with. And what I do is I would ask them like the general questions, like if they know what Bitcoin is, and most of them would actually say no, or they've heard of it, but they don't know what it is or how it's used. So what I do is I educate them on what it is, how it's used, why it was made, how you can actually preserve your wealth in it, and what are some of the applications that are actually being made and what's available right now, so they could use and make their everyday life so much easier, so much better.
Other than the QR code, do you have anything that says I accept Bitcoin or Litecoin or cryptocurrencies, anything like that?
I have like a T-shirt that I got from my boy Johnny Litecoin. Shouts out to Johnny. He basically sent me a couple of Litecoin T-shirts that says "Pay with Litecoin," and I wear those, you know, on occasion, and people see it all the time. They ask me about it, like, "What are those?" And I told them, like, this is for cryptocurrency. You could actually accept payments with it, and you could tip people. Like if you had an Uber driver or a Lyft driver, you could actually tip them, and if they have a wallet, they could actually choose to hold it, or they could just convert it into whatever currency they choose.
Right.
And people really get interested, like when they hear about all the different aspects of it, like especially like with Lolly, with the Lolly app. I was explaining the whole concept to this gentleman, the gentleman that I was making the video about this afternoon, and I actually explained everything to him. I showed him like how DigiID works. I logged into ChangeAngel.io and showed him how DigiID works. He was blown away. Never saw anything like that before a day in his life. He actually got the whole concept of getting sats back from Lolly, and how it works, just the main fundamentals. And those are things that it would really entice the public. Like if they know, like, okay, I could go to this store that I already shop, and I could get Bitcoin back from buying stuff that I already love, and it's literally like increasing in value over time. I'm like, sign me up. Why not? I would definitely want to do that. And he was literally like, he walked away with like so much knowledge. Like he literally couldn't even thank me. Like he didn't even know where else to go or what else to say after the ride was done,
That's
because
cool.
he was so blown away. Like the only thing he could just do was just hold his just put his hand on his cheek, and was like, wow. Like just wow. You know what I mean?
That's
And
amazing.
it's just so amazing.
The experiences like that are really exciting, especially when it's like that, where it's just kind of a happenstance meeting and you start talking about crypto and then it just all kind of flows together, right? And sometimes, though, the conversation goes a different direction or it ends up being something unexpected. Like, when Mitch and I get into a cab, like one guy in LA immediately thought, well, I don't want to be into crypto. I'm not interested in that stuff. I've heard bad things about it. And we started talking to him. And I think, if I recall, this was our trip back from the yacht. Mitch, do you remember this?
Yes.
And he was initially had a really negative opinion on it, but he was just miseducated, from the media that always talks bad about crypto and always talks about the things that aren't really true or don't really matter or are no longer relevant. After we had a conversation with him, it was a pretty long drive back from the boat, like half hour to an hour almost. And
it was.
That was a really deep conversation. His whole mindset had changed. He was going to go look into crypto. He was getting ready to start thinking about taking Bitcoin for tips. I mean, it's just crazy, how much excitement you can hear in their voice when it finally clicks that, oh, maybe this is actually a really good thing that I want to get involved with.
Yeah, definitely.
On the other hand, sometimes it's really funny. We meet some crazy people, and we play the lottery a lot less than you do in this case. You're doing this shit all the time. What's the craziest experience you've had when you just start talking to somebody about crypto and it goes haywire?
Well, I basically ran into this this guy that he is in IT. Like, he definitely has an IT background. And I picked him up from his job. It was an IT company, and he was telling me that he was actually in the security sector. And after I told him about what Bitcoin was, like, I asked him, I was like, you know what Bitcoin is, sir? And he just immediately shut it down. I'm like, look, man, it's a scam. I'm just going to tell you right away, right out through the gate, I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole. That stuff is like, it's rat poison. He literally sounds like, what's that guy called again? Warren Buffett.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly how he sound. And I was like, what? I was like, so how do you know that it's poison? How do you know it's rat poison? He was like, look, stay away from it. All you're gonna do is get burned. Like, everybody that invested in it is gonna just burn and go right down with it. It's gonna be the greatest Ponzi scheme ever. Don't go in it. Don't even try to think about investing in that stuff, because it's like, it's gonna go bad.
Sounds like my uncle.
It's like, people are gonna get a lot of money out of it at first, but then afterwards it's just gonna go bad. It's gonna go haywire. Everybody's gonna lose their asses, and it's just gonna go bad. That's all that it is. I'm gonna stay away from it. I would tell you to do the same. And I was like, oh, okay. So what do you know about Bitcoin? It was like, I know that it's used by drug dealers and, like, people for nefarious deeds. I was like, oh, okay. And immediately, as soon as I heard that, I was like, yeah, he's probably watched a few CNBC articles and, a couple of things that NBC or the rest of them might actually say about, the crypto space, and they do nothing but bash it. So I told him, I'm like, look, if you actually watch like regular television and they tell you something that the general public is going to pick up on anyways, like, they are going to tell you stuff that's going to keep you away from actually getting to the next level. So if you want to stay and be, like, the people that aren't really trying to get into adoption, that aren't trying to really, like, learn about what the latest and greatest tech is and how you could actually get in on the action before it really takes off. I mean, at the end of the day, you're bad. You know what I mean? All I'm trying to do is spread some information and have you find out about what something is. You can go and do research on it for yourself instead of just watching the television and just pick up anything and everything what they say. And just, I tell people all the time, take anything that you hear from TV with a grain of salt. Everything. Especially when it comes to your finances, because you never want to trust those people.
Not a chance.
If they tell you walk, run. Do the complete opposite.
Basically, you want to do your own research. You don't want to rely on the research that they're putting out, because it's got an agenda behind it. The information that the media puts out, the information that any corporation puts out, the information that our government lets be put out, That's all stuff that they want us to hear for a reason. So there's always an agenda behind it. When you talk to somebody that represents a token or represents a coin in the crypto sphere, more often than not, they have an agenda behind what they're telling you. More often than not. But, you can go by reading their white paper. You can see what kind of track record they have. You can see what kind of operating project, if they have one yet. But it all boils down to not accepting what somebody says as truth. You can't, if this guy that I respect says, oh, well, this guy's a piece of junk, this guy's no good, and just stay away from him or stay away from her, blah, 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 whatever. That's okay. Thanks for that. I might keep my eyes open a little bit, but I'm still going to form my own opinion based on their actions. So, it's the same thing with cryptocurrency. To hear negative or positive about it is really irrelevant to me. I want to see how it acts. I want to see what it does and touch it and feel it and, actually experience it myself, because that's what I believe in and what my experiences tell me.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And that's what I tell people all the time. And one of the things that really grasp a lot of people's attention is when I try to explain stuff to them like, listen, if you have your money sitting in a bank account, on average, every day, you lose about 3 to 5% of your wealth. And if you were to actually turn around and invest that money, your money could be not, like if your US dollar were actually being inflated, if you invest in cryptocurrency, especially like Bitcoin, Litecoin, Digibyte, and so forth, your money is now deflationary because it's a fixed amount and there can be no more and no less. You know what I mean? So once you actually have something that is fixed, it's only going to be based on supply and demand. And if you work on the fundamentals and listen to or even follow what the rule of math is, you never have to trust anybody. And I tell them that all the time. It's a trustless system. You don't have to trust it. Just trust the code.
Right.
Once you trust the code, you never can go wrong.
Numbers
and
don't
it's
lie.
like exactly, numbers don't lie. But people get so caught up in the traditional form factor of just leaving their money in a bank account, having this institution take care of their money, having that institution loan their money out, them getting a 10 to 15 interest percentage rate and interest on the money that you had. They get that money that you basically give, you give to them to put away for you. And in all interest, they never have that money sitting around waiting for you. It's loaned out to somebody else.
When you made that statement about losing 3 to 5% of your wealth by having your money in a bank, where does that come from? Where did that statement come from?
Inflation, I think.
Based on inflation?
Plus fees and bank fees and shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out where that stemmed from. But let me use Celsius Network, for example. There's a couple of different ones out there. That's just, Alex is the first one that pops into my head. Why would you put your money in a bank account that earns not even a full percentage of interest when you can put your money in a Celsius network, into the Celsius network as far as cryptos go, and make 3 to 5% on your money?
Yeah, there's a lot of good options out there for staking your funds, whether it's like staking on a masternode on something that's using a proof of stake consensus mechanism, or if it's something like Celsius where you're just treating it as a traditional type savings account and they're utilizing that and paying you a relatively high interest rate on stuff. And even aside from that, just having it in crypto, and like Map, you said a key word in my opinion, and that's deflationary. And a lot of people will say Bitcoin is not deflationary because it's got a fixed total supply. And obviously the circulating supply is going to go up slowly and at a slower rate until we get to that. But at the same time, there are always Bitcoins being either, number one, keys are lost, or people send Bitcoin to addresses that are not managed by anybody. etc. And so you're actually losing circulating tokens or circulating coins at that point. So technically the supply is actually going to be deflationary over the long term, which is even better. And I mean, I don't know. It just seems like a no-brainer, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. Because even going back to where I was talking about the young gentleman this afternoon, I was talking to him and I explained to him just a little bit about that part of it, and he got it. He got it within about 5 to 10 minutes, and he got so wrapped up in the conversation, he actually forgot that he was actually at the end of the ride, and he was just sitting there. He was like a kid in the classroom. He was just sitting there, you know, with his hands in his lap, just like, with his face just lit up, like, oh man, this stuff is so excited. Like, tell me more. Like,
That's amazing.
and I was just like, we were just sitting there, just going back and forth and just, like talking about stuff. And I was telling him about like, the projects that they're coming out with, the project that you could get paid in cryptos, and just by working your regular 9 to 5 job, anybody and everybody could actually join the network, use it. They could just get involved. They could, one thing that definitely caught his attention though, he had the Cash App and didn't know that Bitcoin was in the Cash App.
Yes, that's one that I've run into a couple times. Not often, but a lot of people have the Cash App now, and they don't even have a clue that Bitcoin is part of it.
Exactly. And then I showed it to him. I was like, okay, open up your Cash App and let me show you something. And he opened it up and I was like, you see those little squiggly lines right there? Just tap on that real quick. And he opened it up and he was like, oh, there's Bitcoin right there. I was like, yeah, there's always been Bitcoin right there, because they actually they have Bitcoin integrated into the service. So you not only have like an on ramp that you could buy it, but you can hold it in your Cash App. And a lot of people really feel a lot better, or a sense of relief, knowing that the Cash App actually has that. It, just like you said before, Professor, it gives it a lot more validity, because people see Cash App as something like you could use the Cash App as some form of a bank, because they have a debit card. You have like a basic checking account with them. You
Yep.
could store your money in there. You could spend it. You get perks. You get like some little boost rewards that you could use from different types of stores and different restaurants and stuff like that. And people love that stuff. Anything with perks. And after I taught him about what Lolly was and how it's worked, how they integrate like all the different stores and all the different aspects of getting sats back instead of cash back, it made sense. And he really liked the concept. He was like, look, I need to look more into this. And I gave him the seed card and I was like, look, scan the QR code. It's going to take you to this site. Read up about it. Go to 10daysofbitcoin.com. Put your email address in. For 10 days, it'll send you a little article about what Bitcoin is, and you'll learn. And by the end of the day, you'll come out being a winner, because you will have more information in you than the regular individual. You could now you could take your own initiative, and whenever a conversation comes up about Bitcoin, you're like, oh, you don't know what Bitcoin is? Come on over here for a second. Let's have
Let's
a little
have a conversation.
Yeah, you want a beer? Come on, man. Let's go grab a beer. Let's go sit over by the bar and talk about a little Bitcoin real quick.
Nothing better with Bitcoin than a beer.
No, and
Listen.
pretty soon it'll be a lot easier to find places to go pay for a beer with Bitcoin.
Right.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I use my Cash App all the time. I've got the cash card, and I use that all the time if I need to cash out a little bit of crypto and do it. But
Yeah.
one thing about Lolly, you were talking about the stack sats terminology, and I really, really love what their marketing team did there. And not only because it's fun and playful, but at the same time, when people hear that, if they just heard Bitcoin back, they would immediately know all of what that means as far as they're concerned. And that's just that you get Bitcoin back. They hear sats back, number one, they're going to be like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah,
It's going to put that
exactly.
question in their mind. And then some of
Mhm.
them are actually going to go out and look it up. And that's going to take them into Satoshis. And then that's going to teach them why they're called Satoshis. And then once you head down the conspiracy theory rabbit holes about Satoshi, then you're hooked for sure, you know. But just in general, it gets them into thinking about it outside of just Bitcoin.
Yeah, definitely, because it's a really exciting time to be alive. I can tell anybody that. And one of the things that I really touched on with this gentleman is I was explaining to him like the difference between $1 and 1 Satoshi. Because I told him, I was like, look, if you have the Cash App on your phone, you could buy like, from $1 all the way up to like $10,000. That's the limit that they give you on the Cash App to actually purchase. And I told him, I'm like, look, Bitcoin is literally like the best performing asset class known to man for this, not only for the past 4 to maybe 5 years, but for this decade. And there is nothing else that I've ever seen that come like it just came about and just blew everything else out the water. Bitcoin is literally like that one piece of asset that everybody needs to own, at least a little bit. And I told him, I'm like, look, I just told you all this information. You're basically now in the 1%. You're in the 1% of individuals in this country that has been enlightened. And if you own, I even broke down all the technical aspects to him. I'm like, look, if you were to own at least $200 in Bitcoin today, you're guaranteed to be in the top 1% of the wealthiest individuals that's going to be in the new upcoming financial sector that we're eventually going to roll over into. And he was just blown away by that simple fact. He was blown away. He was like, okay, I need to look at this because now you're talking my language. If you're going to tell me that I could be in the top 1% of the individuals, I don't even know what that feels like. Like if
it's a
if
crazy
I
thing
could
to think about, right?
Exactly.
And on the flip side of it, outside of the money standpoint, I think one of the biggest things right now that's an issue with our current system is that nobody understands how it works, right? The general public doesn't and they're never going to understand truly how Bitcoin works either, but it's really important to have an underlying concept of what's going on, so at least you can know how totally screwed up the system is. If you at least have a little bit of an idea of what's going on, you can at least know that it's totally trash or that maybe you can depend on it. So I feel like it's really important to get people that even if they're not confident from an investment standpoint, give them $2 worth of Bitcoin and be like, here's $2. Let me set you up a wallet and let me show you how to send a transaction, just to get them that little glimpse of how it works, so that in the future, when it's being used widely, they have that advantage of knowing what's going on under the surface, even if it's just the very, very basics of it. I think that's an important thing because eventually, right now, we're so focused on that because you have to know it to use it, at least a little bit. But in the future, people are going to come in and they're just going to use payment systems that they don't even know are cryptocurrency. So having a little bit of understanding would really help that going forward.
Yeah, exactly. Because I even went over like the speeding app and showed him like, look, we have like real world use cases for this stuff. Like you could actually go to Starbucks and buy coffee. You could go you can go to places to buy ice cream. You could go to AMC theaters, Baskin Robbins. That's what I was trying to find. Baskin Robbins. You could go there. You could get whatever you need. You could get stuff from AMC theater. You can get stuff Bed Bath and Beyond. Starbucks, one of the most popular places people go for coffee, and it's like you go there and you're spending cryptos and they don't even know that you're paying with Bitcoin or with Litecoin or with any other the other currencies that they have integrated on there. And that's what makes it so impressive.
I like using the Speed app, but there's something to be said about spending crypto direct too. When you can physically spend it directly instead of having to transfer it into that, I think when people know you're paying with crypto, to me almost seems more important than just being able to spend it using an app like Speedin. I like the ability to be able to spend it because it, in one sense, it puts crypto into the ecosystem, but not as much as if you're spending it direct. So if you're dealing with a retailer that takes Litecoin or Bitcoin or Digibyte or whatever they take crypto wise for payment, and you pay with that crypto, you're putting that crypto into that ecosystem. You're putting it into circulation. So, outside of your physical control of it, does that make sense?
Yeah, it definitely does.
And
it definitely does.
So I think there's more of a dual impact in that sense. There was a guy that was on Twitter the other day, griping about how challenging it was to, I got to go on the exchange and I got to trade it into USDT or USDC, and then I got to do this and I got to do that. And I'm like, what are you doing? It sounds like you're building a damn rocket ship, dude. You're just
missing some education.
Crypto, for God's sakes. I mean, it just, so, there's people that have that bad taste in their mouth, kind of like that guy you were talking about earlier that heard this and that, how it's a Ponzi scheme and blah, 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 going on and on about the only thing that he knows. And so that's what I like about having conversations like this. I love the doing podcasts and hearing from people like yourself and getting different input to everybody that's out there, right? And not just the same content. It's all different content. And, that to me means a lot. I love it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And backing up a little bit to talk a little bit about the spending crypto directly versus through an app like Speedin. I think there's some major importance on both sides of that, right? So like spending it directly, number one, like you say, puts it out there and actually kind of gets it circulating amongst people that may not be so deeply involved in the crypto space, but they've just kind of worked their way into accepting it. And so it kind of helps spread the word and whatnot from there as well. But at the same time, the people like the Speedin app or Cash App, they're also the ones building the systems that we're going to rely on to implement this on a mass scale in the future. Yes. So we need to, on the flip side, we also need to support those companies and not even just companies, but anybody who is working on that, because it's, there's a lot of open source projects too, but there's a big importance to make sure that we help assist the technology and help it develop as fast as we can. There's a lot of things that it's critical to have enough user base to find bugs and that kind of stuff and figure out what works and what doesn't. So I think it's important to make sure that we do both sides of that.
Agreed.
Yeah, definitely. Agreed. Because I try to tell a couple of people too, like the way that I look at the future, because I think way ahead of what a lot of individuals may even look into. Because I tell people all the time, like, look, the future of payments is going to be while you're actually working, your bills are getting paid while you work. And basically what you get at the end of the pay period is what's left over after everything is being paid, because everything might just be getting charged per second or per minute. And what it is that you actually pay for is just done. It's just like a video that I saw Mitch did the other day when he said paid forward. That's like another way of paying it forward. That's more paying it direct than anything. And once it's done and over with, you never have to worry about paying a bill anymore because it's already being paid while you work. So, it's going to be integrated in systems where it happens so seamless, even with adoption on the daily. We're going to look back at days like this and going to be like, wow, like we actually played a big role.
Yeah, the concept of a paycheck is going to be a weird thing.
Yeah.
It's just going to, like you say, seamless is the key word. It's going to be a seamless ecosystem. And that's the really, really huge benefit of cryptocurrencies is machine-to-machine transactions on a financial system that can be trusted based on mathematics. And it's extremely difficult to implement completely and effectively, efficiently, and securely at the same time because we have lots that combine some of those aspects, but we don't have a perfect solution yet. But that's why we keep building. But that's the key. And as soon as that happens, the IoT goes to the next level. Let's just put it that way. The Internet of Things becomes something that we've all dreamed about but have not been able to fully realize because of payment systems.
Yep. And for me to explain that to a lot of people, I think, it's such a privilege to actually go out there every day and just, just run into something, into somebody just totally random and just spur up a conversation and just start talking to them and explain stuff and having them learn. And while they learn, they're actually doing research at the same time. And it's like I have like a computer background like from years and years ago, because I grew up working with that stuff. I was working with computers ever since I was like a little kid, like 11, 12 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I used to do experiments and stuff like that on them. And I have like an IT background. I know how to build them and all that stuff. And it kind of puts me in a position where it makes it that much easier to get people educated on it because I could break down stuff into certain aspects where anybody could learn, even a 5-year old. Because I could tell them, like, look, if you get one Bitcoin and then Bitcoin actually doubles in value, how much that actually gives you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's nice having that background that you can kind of relate to with. What was the first computer you tore apart?
Well, I basically, I had like a old Intel Celeron that I used to mess around with the motherboard and all that stuff. Upgraded it, gotten into memories, doing like different hard drive swaps, all that kind of stuff. But what really, really piqued my interest was the programs.
Mm-hmm.
I was really big into like installing programs, messing around with them, getting like video game cast to work and all those kind of things. Getting into to decode games from different consoles and having them work cross-platform, all that kind of stuff. So I was literally like, like a little mini hacker. so,
Nice.
and so
Nice. Did you ever get into coding?
I always wanted to, but I just didn't get that far. But I'm actually in the midst of going to get Google certified right now because I'm actually getting ready to go back to school pretty soon.
It's good to hear. That's a good step to take. Like I just did that a few years ago. I went back and finished my bachelor's, and I'm so glad I did. It changes a lot. It's a good feeling. It's a good sense of accomplishment to like go back. And it was hard. It was a hard decision. Like I didn't want to. I was having such a great time, like doing what I was doing, and it was nice to not have a boss. But like
Yeah.
I was missing something. And I know at the same time, you can also get a lot of education without having a real degree. Like there's so many amazing options out there. You can go to Coursera or Udacity, and in a year, you can learn like 10 bachelor's degrees worth of shit if you have the time to put in,
Yeah.
but one way or the other, regardless of which route you go, it's important to keep educating yourself and always look for something new and exciting, because even if you are amazing at what you do, there's always something else out there that you're not amazing at. So go find it and have fun.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And it's like, you're never gonna be perfect at anything that you really do in the sense of everybody's eyes. But all you could do is just be the best that you could be. Because I've heard one person say, I heard somebody say something the other day. I believe it was John Red that said it, that one of his parents told him that every individual should have at least 6 different experiences from I think it was, no, not 6, it was 3. Everybody should have at least 3 different experiences through their lifetimes, like 3 different professions. And I told him, I was like, look, I've had at least a half a dozen different professions already. and, and I'm like, I'm not even that old, but
Dude, man,
people still,
I hear you so much. I hear you so much on that.
but people still tell me that I look like, like a teenager. So I told them, look, I'll take it. but apart from that, I tell them, I'm like, look, one of the most incredible things that you could master is just being you. that's one of the best things that I could tell anybody. Like, if you never master a profession, try to master the profession of being yourself.
That's very
There is
difficult.
nothing like it.
I don't know.
Very,
I'm
very
pretty damn
difficult.
good at being myself, but
Yeah, you motherfucker got 50 years of practice, though.
Oh,
you know,
man.
well, I think it takes 49 years to actually learn who the fuck you are.
Yeah, well, you have definitely made some leaps and bounds in that realm, my friend.
Oh, thanks, man. Thanks. I'll take that as a compliment. That's awesome. Dude, I'll tell you, you know, I have one last question for you for the night, and then we're gonna have to close, as much as I don't want to, because I'm enjoying the conversation.
There has to be another one, and it kind of sucks that they're booked out until fucking January, but
Well,
Yeah,
we got
I
some
know.
booking in February now. I was like, what? February?
right.
Wow.
So
Look,
I was
you
gonna
guys are gonna
say,
be busy.
you have is there an object in front of you that you would use for a piece of artwork? What object is it, and where would you put it?
Okay, so if I would actually put an object on a painting right now, um, I would to tell you the truth, I would put Bitcoin on there
No,
because
that's sitting in
mostly
front of you right now,
that's like that's like sitting right in front of me right now.
my man.
Well, I mean, yeah, I would say Bitcoin because that basically expands into everything else. You know,
Wait. Let me see it.
well, you're looking at it from the hat.
So what he's saying is he would put coin flip in that painting.
There you go.
Hey, I mean, it's a possibility. Let's make it happen.
There we go.
shit.
There we go, Daniel. If you want a coin
Oh,
flip painting,
Did you? If I missed it, I was. Where exactly are you from, Matt?
Yeah, I'm originally from Jamaica, but I'm here in Jersey.
Okay, that's what I thought. I thought you were in Jersey, but I was trying to. So, well, I'm gonna try and set up a meetup with in Chicago for the Midwest Adoption Team, and we're gonna do it with the coin flip guys and try and make a big deal out of it and have a crypto ATM there and really advertise it. So I'm kind of excited about doing this. It's gonna be in the spring or early summer.
I can't wait. When Daniel started talking about that in Vegas,
Yes.
Nice.
this has to be the coolest idea. Meet up at the coin flip office, and
Yeah.
it's like right in the middle, and we got to get everybody out there.
Right. Exactly.
Now we just need like a massive sponsor so we can just fly out all of crypto Twitter.
Yeah.
Man, that would be great.
If somebody
That would
else
be
to
great.
sponsor us for about $250,000, we are open.
That's it. I mean, come on. All these ICOs, that's a drop in the bucket.
Oh, that's true. I'm looking for about
Listen.
10.4 million.
I would be there in a heartbeat.
But I mean, think about it. $500,000 to these ICOs. What is it? Really? They piss that away at the bar in bar tabs.
Yeah, but you know what?
Yeah.
Fuck them. Most of these
Yeah.
ICOs, I wouldn't take $1 from for a sponsorship.
Well, no, but that's what I'm.
No, I know that's what you're saying, but I'm just saying, like, fucking A. Some of these companies that are just making this much money is like, you look at them and you're like, how in the fuck does anybody actually invest in it? But nobody, I guess people don't do their research and that kind of stuff. But sometimes some of this shit that you see just.
Here, let me ask you this, and I don't know where you guys stand on this, but if you were in a position that you were charging somebody to do a job, like me, I'm a carpenter, so I give people prices to do work for them, right? So if you gave somebody a price to do a job and the job went just outrageously smooth and you literally killed it, would you give money back?
That's a tough one. I know for sure that a lot of people in their right mind probably wouldn't. They would probably ask for more if it looks the way that especially if it looks exactly like the way they want it. but I mean, I think for me, if I charge something like fairly priced, I'd probably stick with the price. I know like a lot of people have their own opinions, but I probably would stick with the price, being that, I try to be a man of my word. So if I actually said that's what I'm going to charge, that's what I'm going to charge. But I think for me, if I was to ever like give any money back, I would probably tell him, okay, let me set you up with a wallet. I'll
Now we're
give you
talking.
money back,
That's the perfect answer right
but
there.
I would give you sats back. Why not?
I always tell them I'll give them a percentage off if they pay me in crypto.
There you go.
There you go. I mean, this is a good time, Mitch. I talked to Rhonda about this last night because it kind of came out of my ass, and we've already talked about a similar thing before. But just kind of no, seriously.
Wait, now we're talking about shit coming out of your head. Go ahead.
All right. So I was thinking about coming up with some way where we've talked about trying to do something for charity, right? With some of the funds from the merch store, which there isn't a lot, but as they come in, as it starts getting bigger. So what about the idea of any payments that come as crypto specifically, a percentage of those goes to charity, but because it's crypto, they can run through a smart contract, and the smart contract can automatically send that payment directly to the charity wallet. And that can all be tracked and viewable and publicly visible on our website. And you can see statistics and all that kind of stuff. And we could eventually, as like a test case for Cerebro, we could implement a quick, like a basic DAO system and have a little bit of a voting thing. And so we could pre-select like 4 or 5 charities, and then listeners could vote on the charities that they like the most. And then the smart contract would automatically reward the charity funds to the charity based on their level of votes.
We're definitely going to revisit this conversation on another podcast too, because I think we need to delve a little deeper into this and pick some people's brains on it. It's just right now we're out of time. I mean,
oh, exactly. We're running down fucking rabbit holes. I can't believe it's already been an hour and 10 minutes.
So. Oh, speaking about merch, you guys know that I actually launched my new crypto line. It's actually called MTS Hodl Gear. And
wait, I missed this. I need a link.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna send it over to you so you could check it out.
Sick.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Pretty soon you're gonna see a lot of people from the crypto community, sporting the wear. I'm gonna have a couple of them too whenever I do like more podcasts or whenever I do a lot more interviews. I actually have some shipping in like as we speak, so we'll have them pretty soon, definitely for the holidays. And I'll be sure to hook you guys up with a mug or something, or send you guys a T-shirt or something, and have you guys take a couple of pictures, rock them out.
Oh yeah, man! It was awesome to have you on the show. Thank you so much. It kind of ran longer than we anticipated, but it was an awesome one, and we have a lot more to talk about. I really want to get into like some of the old days of computers and just kind of have some of the fun talks about that. So. Jump on the calendar and schedule another one if you feel so inclined. And thanks again, man.
Definitely. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right, buddy. Have a great evening. We'll talk to you soon, Matt.
All right. Take care, guys.
Catch you later, man.
All right. Peace.
See ya.
Peace.
He's always a good time to talk to, man. I love that guy.
Yeah, that was crazy. I honestly, I haven't had enough time to talk to him because I didn't know as deep and how deep he actually was into this. And I'm glad we did this podcast. I really am.
Oh yeah. And I also didn't know, I didn't really know much about him as far as background and stuff goes. So it was really cool to hear that he kind of had similar, it almost reminded me of the conversation we had with Justin Vendetta, right? Like some of those similar upbringings with computers as a kid. And I don't know, I like talking about that shit.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a good night all the way around. Once I finally got my sound set up right, and hopefully this microphone, I ended up getting a microphone today.
Nice.
So it's on my phone.
Sounds good.
Does it?
Yeah.
Good. Because it's one that plugs right into the phone.
Okay, it's nice and clear, and it's not doing that pop thing.
And I did notice that even in the bar, people said it sounded good, so it was doing better than what it was doing, when I was just using my phone before.
Yeah, so, in the bar, you could hear all the background noise still, but I could clearly hear what people were saying when you were talking to them.
Yeah, and that's kind of cool. So, yeah. Anyways, this was a good night. I'm really, like I said, I'm glad we had a chance to talk with him. I'm glad that everything flowed as well as it did, and we were able to get some info out there about coin flip.
Heck yeah. And I, kind of got carried away on tangents there. I forgot you're sitting in the car waiting to go back into said bar and have a good time.
Yeah, well, that's all. Those guys are probably gone already anyways.
They're just missing all the party.
I know, right?
Hell yeah. Have a good rest of the night. Make sure you get the bar to take Bitcoin. No excuses.
Well, I'm going to work on that. Trust me.
Oh, yeah. I know you will.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. I hope you all had a great evening and enjoyed, or a great time and enjoyed the podcast. We look forward to the next one. You guys have a great one.
Take it easy.
Peace.